Biomed Nexus. Daily updates, your essential biotech, medtech, and pharma recap. No noise, just what matters. TLDR Merck, MRK, reported positive Phase 3 data for Sacituzumab tirumotecan, SAC-TMT, an antibody-drug conjugate co-developed with China's Kelun Biotech in advanced or recurrent endometrial cancer. The drug significantly improved both progression-free survival and overall survival versus chemotherapy, giving Merck a potentially important new growth driver ahead of Keytruda's 2028 patent cliff. Truist Securities projected that Revolution Medicines, RVMD, could receive FDA approval for daraxonrasib in second-line pancreatic cancer by the end of Q3 2026, calling the company one that is evolving into a major revenue-generating oncology company. Full Phase 3 data will be presented at the ASCO plenary on May 31st, 11 days. Regeneron, RX, announced a strategic research collaboration with Parabilis Medicines focused on antibody helicon conjugates, AHCs, a novel therapeutic class targeting historically undruggable proteins. The deal comes immediately after Regeneron's Phase 3 fianlimab miss in melanoma. The FDA and Japan's MHLW accepted new drug applications for asundexian, a Factor XIa inhibitor for ischemic stroke prevention, one of the most important cardiovascular pipeline candidates in years. Federal ethics disclosures released May 14 show that stock purchases of up to $68,000 in Eli Lilly and up to $5,000 in West Pharmaceutical Services were made on President Trump's behalf between January and March 2026. The Trump Organization has said the president does not direct specific investment decisions. Executive takeaway: Merck's SAC-TMT Phase 3 win is the most important ADC data point since Enhertu's early breast cancer approval last week. The endometrial cancer readout shows Sacituzumab tirumotecan significantly improved both PFS and OS versus chemotherapy, validating the TROP2 target in a new tumor type and giving Merck a registrational quality dataset for a future filing. This is exactly the kind of asset Merck needs as it builds the Post-Keytruda portfolio. The Kelun Biotech partnership, which gives Merck global rights outside China, is now one of the most productive China licensing deals in the industry, alongside BMS, Hengrui, 15-2B, and Lilly, Hengrui via Kylera. Meanwhile, the ASCO countdown is officially on. Truist projected a Q3 2026 approval for Revolution Medicines' daraxonrasib, which would make it one of the fastest oncology drugs from Phase 3 readout to market in recent memory. The company plans to file under the CNPV program. If the 50-day Foundayo precedent holds, an August or September approval is plausible. Brian Wolpin presents the full Resolute 302 dataset at the ASCO plenary on May 31st, 11 days. Read full analysis, what to watch, Merck SAC-TMT filing timeline. The companies have not specified when they plan to file. Watch for a regulatory submission announcement in H2 2026. The data positions SAC-TMT as a direct competitor to Gilead's Trodelvy in the TROP2 ADC space. ASCO plenary, May 31. Revolution Medicines presents full Phase 3 Resolute 302 data. PFS data, not yet disclosed, subgroup analyses and mature survival curves will be the focus. Truist's Q3 approval projection gives the presentation added commercial urgency. Asundexian review: if approved, asundexian would be the first Factor XIa inhibitor on the market, offering stroke prevention without the bleeding risk associated with current anticoagulants like Eliquis and Xarelto. This could reshape the cardiovascular anticoagulation market. Regeneron pipeline. Rebuild. The Parabilis deal signals Regeneron is diversifying its early-stage pipeline after the fianlimab miss. AHCs are a novel modality. Watch for target and indication disclosures. Top story: Merck's SAC-TMT hits Phase 3 in endometrial cancer. MRKW: what happened? Merck reported positive phase 3 results for Sacituzumab tirumotecan, SAC-TMT, an antibody-drug conjugate co-developed with China's Kelun Biotech in advanced or recurrent endometrial cancer. The drug significantly improved both progression-free survival and overall survival versus investigators' choice chemotherapy. The pharma letter called it a potentially important new growth driver as it prepares for future competition to blockbuster immunotherapy Keytruda. Biospace noted the companies have yet to specify when they plan to file for approval. The asset, SAC-TMT, targets TROP2, the same antigen targeted by Gilead's Trodelvy, Sacituzumab govitecan, but uses a different linker-payload combination, tirumotecan payload. The differentiation is in the payload chemistry. Tirumotecan is designed to deliver a more potent cytotoxic effect with a potentially improved therapeutic window. Kelun Biotech developed the molecule and licensed global rights outside China to Merck. Executive impact. This win validates three converging trends. First, ADCs continue to expand beyond breast cancer into new tumor types, endometrial, after Enhertu's early breast cancer approval last week. Second, the China licensing model continues to produce registrational quality assets, BMS Hengrui, Lilly Hengrui, GSK, Siren Bio, AbbVie, Haisco, and now Merck, Kelun Biotech. Third, Merck's Post-Keytruda pipeline build is producing results. The company needs multiple growth drivers to offset the 2028 LOE, and SAC-TMT in endometrial cancer, plus the broader Kelun Biotech ADC collaboration, give it a franchise-level opportunity in the ADC space. Corporate and business development's Truist projects, Revolution Medicines approval, by end of Q3 RVMD Truist, Securities issued a note calling Revolution Medicines a company that is evolving into a major revenue-generating oncology company, and projected an FDA approval for daraxonrasib in second-line pancreatic cancer by the end of Q3 2026, according to Biospace. If Revolution files under the CNPV program as planned, the 50-day Foundeo precedent suggests approval could come within weeks of filing. Full Phase 3 data will be presented at the ASCO plenary on May 31st, 11 days from today. A month after the Phase 3 readout, Truist said the company has moved from a clinical-stage biotech to a major revenue-generating oncology company in the eyes of the street. Regeneron partners with Parabilis on antibody helicon conjugates. Regeneron announced a strategic research collaboration with Parabilis Medicines to develop antibody helicon conjugates, AHCs, a novel therapeutic class combining antibodies with Parabilis's helicon peptide platform to target historically undruggable proteins. The pharma letter noted the focus on challenging and historically undruggable targets. Biospace reported the deal came right after reporting a major Phase 3 LAG-3 miss in melanoma, suggesting Regeneron is diversifying its pipeline after the fianlimab setback. Cardiovascular FDA accepts asundexian NDA for stroke prevention. The FDA and Japan's Ministry of Health accepted new drug applications for asundexian, an investigational Factor XIa FXIa inhibitor, for prevention of ischemic stroke in patients after non-cardioembolic ischemic stroke or transient ischemic attack, according to the pharma letter. Factor XIa inhibitors represent a new class of anticoagulants designed to reduce stroke risk without the bleeding complications associated with current therapies. If approved, asundexian would be the first Factor XIa inhibitor on the market and could challenge Eliquis and Xarelto in specific patient populations. Policy and regulatory ethics disclosure. Trump stock purchases include Lilly federal ethics disclosures released May 14th show that stock purchases of up to $68,000 in Eli Lilly and up to $5,000 in West Pharmaceutical Services, a GLP-1 injectable device manufacturer, were made on President Trump's behalf between January and March 2026. The purchases were part of broader trades across the economy, including tech, aerospace, and consumer companies. The Trump Organization has said in the past that neither the president nor his children play a role in selecting, directing, or approving specific investments. The disclosure was first reported by KFF Health News. The week ahead now, RBC Global Healthcare Conference, New York. Late May, Commerce Section 232 report on medical devices expected. May 29th, FDA RTCT public comment period closes May 29th to June 2nd. ASCO annual meeting, Chicago. May 31st, ASCO plenary, Rasolute 302 full data, RVMD. June 4th, Jefferies Global Healthcare Conference, New York. Red, full analysis Biomed. Nexus Pro Institutional Intelligence Brief. Merck's Post-Keytruda ADC build Merck faces one of the largest single-product patent cliffs in pharma history. Keytruda, the world's best-selling drug, faces LOE in 2028. The company has been systematically building an ADC portfolio through its Kelun Biotech partnership. Sacituzumab, Phase 3 positive in endometrial cancer, TROP2 targeted, global rights outside China. MK-2870 HER3 ADC partnership announced in 2023. Multiple early-stage ADC collaborations across the Kelun Biotech deal. The SAC-TMT data validates Merck's China licensing strategy. Kelun Biotech developed the molecule at lower cost, Merck gets global commercial rights, and both companies share the economics. This is the same playbook as BMS Hengrui, 15-2B, 13 programs, Lilly, Hengrui, Kylera obesity franchise, GSK, Siren Bio, 1B ALK7, and AbbVie, Hisco, NAV1, 8 pain. If SAC-TMT is approved, it would compete directly with Gilead's Trodelvy in the TROP2 space. The differentiation is in payload chemistry, tirumotecan, SAC-TMT, versus SN38, Trodelvy. Head-to-head clinical comparisons do not exist, but the endometrial cancer data positions SAC-TMT as a best-in-class candidate in at least one tumor type. ASCO. Countdown, 11 days. The May 31st plenary session is the most anticipated oncology presentation of 2026. What we know, OS 13, 2 months, verse 6, 7 months, HR 0, 40, P0, 001. PFS not yet disclosed will be presented at ASCO. Subgroup analyses not yet disclosed. Presenter, Brian Wolpin, MD, Dana-Farber. Truist's Q3 approval projection implies Revolution files under CNPV shortly after the ASCO presentation. If CNPV review mirrors the Foundeo precedent 50 days, an August or September 2026 approval is plausible. Revolution has approximately $4 in cash after the $2B offering, sufficient to self-fund commercialization. The ASCO presentation will determine whether the investment thesis transitions from promising data to imminent commercial launch. Factor XIa, the next cardiovascular frontier current oral anticoagulants, Eliquis, Xarelto, work by inhibiting Factor XIa or thrombin. They reduce stroke risk but carry significant bleeding risk, which limits their use in some patient populations. Factor XIa inhibitors represent a fundamentally different approach. Factor XIa sits higher in the coagulation cascade and is more closely linked to pathological clot formation, thrombosis, than to normal bleeding, hemostasis. Inhibiting Factor XIa should, in theory, reduce thrombotic events while preserving the body's ability to stop bleeding. If a Sundexion's NDA review confirms this profile, the drug could capture share from Eliquis and Xarelto in stroke prevention, particularly in patients who cannot tolerate bleeding risk. The Eliquis patent cliff, 98, 6% projected revenue collapse by 2031, creates additional commercial opportunity for a differentiated successor. Catalyst calendar, May 2026 forward date event tickers, ongoing WHO Ebola, PHEIC response, Bundibugyo, DRC plus Uganda, MRK, mRNA, BNTX late, May commerce, section 232 report on medical devices, expected MDT, BSX, SYK, ISRG May, 29 FDA RTCT public comment period, closes in May 29 to June. 2 ASCO annual meeting, Chicago. Multiple May 31 ASCO plenary. Resolute 302, full data RVMD June. 4 Jefferies Global Healthcare Conference, New York. Multiple June 2026 Takeda CEO transition, Julie Kim, Taklete. Q2 Lilly found T2D filing under CNPV-LLY Q3 2026 Revolution. Medicines Daraxon receive approval projected, Truist, RVMD July. GLP-1 Bridge Program launches, LOI, NVO Q3 2026 Teva email X close expected, Teva July 31 section, 232 Pharma tariffs effective, large companies, multiple H2 2026 Foundeo, T2D regulatory action, expected LLI H2 2026 Lilly, Kelonia, close expected LLI H2 2026 Ajax proof of concept, data expected LLY H2 2026 Merck, SAC TMT filing, expected MRK mid-2026 Lilly, True-Tide phase 3 obesity readouts, Triumph program, LOI Sept, 19 Ultragenics, UX111, PDUFA, Sanfilippo, Type A, gene therapy, Rare Sept, 29 section, 232 pharma tariffs, effective all other companies, multiple deck, 7 Lilly Investment Community Meeting, LLY, Visit the Pro, Hub Read, full article, limited, ASCO week, sponsorship slots available, May 29th, June 3rd. Reach 65,000 plus professionals during the biggest oncology event of the year. Learn more. Is your company listed in the Biomed Nexus directory? 2,104 companies across 14 categories. Claim or upgrade your listing. Sponsorship slots for 2026 are limited. See packages and pricing. New Biomed Nexus. Signals weekly sales intelligence for life sciences BD teams. Learn more.